Hi everyone, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth here. I was talking with a client today about cash flow, and any of you who have heard me speak about cash flow before know that one of the primary ways that you can affect your cash flow is to shorten your payable receivable cycle. That is, when you pay for raw materials or goods that you're producing, and then when you get payment from a customer for a sale. So, let me give you some really quick tips on how to improve each of those. So, how do you slow your payables? First of all, any type of discount you get on an invoice, take advantage of it. So if you get a 2% discount for paying within 30 days, absolutely make sure you take advantage of that. However, it doesn't give you any more benefit to pay that in 10 days, right? You're still going to get that same 10% or 2% discount in this example. Pay on day 29. Especially in today's day and age of electronic payments in a lot of cases, you can control exactly when that cash comes out of your account. So absolutely do that. Get a corporate card with rewards, pay for things with a corporate card, and a lot of times, assuming your card has a grace period, which almost all of them do nowadays, it could be, let's say, 40 days between when you pay for it with a credit card and when you actually have to lay out the cash to pay for the credit card. Using that example just a second ago, where you pay on day 29, you've gotten the materials, I have the invoice, and it's already been 29 days, and then you pay with a corporate card on day 29, and then it's another 40 days. Now think about that for a second. Using that example, it's been 29, it's 69 days between when you actually got the invoice or the product with the invoice and then when you actually paid it. Think about how much that slows your payable. Obviously, an easy way to do it. A tangential benefit to that is the corporate card rewards you get. And depending how much you're charged on a monthly basis, could end up being pretty lucrative. A lot of different forms of rewards. Choose the card that makes most sense for you and your business. The key risk to using your corporate card is you need to make sure you're staying on budget. You don't want to charge a lot of things and then get the credit card bill and not be able to pay the balance in full each month. Then you carry a balance, then you may have penalties and or you have interest charges. That's foolish. We don't want to do that, so we got to keep an eye on that. Okay, so the other side of that, speeding your receivables. So how do you do that? One way to do that is to require deposits for large orders. Not all orders, but let's say, for example, your average order is $1,000. Maybe you make it a rule that any order over $2,500, you require 50% up front and then 50% on whatever your normal payment terms are. That obviously helps you get some of that cash in the door up front so you're not floating the difference. If you produce anything that's a custom product, absolutely, if you're not doing this, and you should be, start doing it tomorrow or yesterday if you can. Require cash up front, or not cash, but payment up front. Have you ever ordered anything that was custom, even if it was just a custom t-shirt that didn't require payment up front? Of course not. Everything is charged in that way. No one would bat an eye at that. They would expect that they would have to pay for a custom product up front. Offer a discount for an early payment and then make sure there's a penalty for a late payment. The key aspect of that, A, put it on the invoice, and B, spell it out very, very clearly so the recipient of the invoice knows exactly what the reward and risks are for early and late payment. So when I say early payment, I don't mean 30 days. I'm talking about 10 days, for example. So let's take that $1,000 invoice and you send it out on December 1st. So you tell them if they pay before December 10th, it's no longer $1,000, it's $950. So they can save $50 by getting the payment to you within 10 days. Anytime, if you pay by December 30th, your normal payment terms of 30 days, and let's say you don't offer a discount for that, it's $1,000. On day 31, so on December 31st or after, the payment is XYZ. The key element there is, again, make sure it's very transparent and it's spelled out with exact dates and amounts so people can see, hey, I can save this money, and it's very clear to them. And the other aspect is, for the penalty, make sure that it's a percentage. Do not make it a flat fee. So I've seen before where someone attempted to implement this and they made it a flat fee. They charged $20. If you're late by a day, it's a $20 fee. Well, here's the problem with that. If someone orders something from you that's $50, let's say, you charge them $20 if they're a day late, that's a 40% late payment, $20 on 50. You're going to have an upset customer clearly. On the flip side, if someone orders something from you that's $5,000 and you only charge them $20 for being late, now you've put yourself in a bad position. So obviously you don't want to do that. Make it a percentage of the invoice. So that way it's fair and equitable on both sides for you and for your customer. The last thing I'll mention as far as speeding your accounts receivable is forget snail mail. There's no more snail mailing. We're way past that. E-deliver your invoices. The key element to that is make sure you get it directly to the person who pays the bills. If you send it to a generic address or to someone, other than the person that actually pays the payment, you're just asking for delays. There's a whole bunch of steps typically to get something paid. You want to shorten those steps as much as you can and help your client or your customer have as an efficient process on their end as they can. And the way that you do that, and you can help with that, is getting it directly to the person. If you're not sure who that is, ask. Just ask. So those are some quick tips on both sides on how to shorten that cycle. We were able to help a client recently that had a pretty severe problem with this payable receivable cycle. We were able to help them shorten their payable receivable cycle from a negative 34 days, and that is to say they would pay for things and it would be 34 days before they would actually receive payment, so they would receive money. We were able to change that from a negative 34 days to a plus 9 days. So they were actually receiving payment on average sooner than they were having to pay for it. And again, they used some of the tips I mentioned as well as others. So obviously a great success story with a dramatic improvement like that, had a significant impact on their cash flow, really saved them in a lot of ways, and I think the owner has a lot less gray hair and sleeps a little better at night because of that. So that's just a couple quick tips on how to shorten your payable receivable cycle. This is Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth signing off. Until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks.